The head of the National Transportation Safety Board says a train derailment like the one that happened in East Palestine, Ohio, can absolutely happen again. Now, a group of bipartisan lawmakers on Capitol Hill is pushing to prevent a similar disaster. They're proposing a rail safety bill they say will make the industry much safer. Pennsylvania Democratic Senator Bob Casey is a co-sponsor of the bill. Senator, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. How would you pitch this to the folks there in East Palestine and on the other side of the border with Pennsylvania? Because I know a lot of folks in your state who border East Palestine are very concerned about what's going on and are very concerned that their health might be threatened.
Jim, absolutely. I don't want people in Darlington, Pennsylvania, or East Palestine, Ohio, to think that this bill would somehow supplant what we should all do, federal, state, and local, right now to help the people and to hold Norfolk Southern accountable. But going forward, we have to have much tougher safety requirements for any train carrying hazardous materials. That's one of the problems here. Not enough safety requirements for that kind of hazardous material being transported. Also, more inspections, better and tougher inspections of these rail companies, and really tough fines. Right now, under federal law, you could only impose fines on a company like Norfolk Southern in the tens of thousands. They should be hit with, if they're culpable, they should be hit with multi-million-dollar fines at a minimum, and that's what this bill would provide. So tougher safety, more inspections, audits of federal programs that do this kind of monitoring, and also much tougher fines.
And one of the problems, I'm sure you know this, is that the railroad industry has been very successful lobbying against safety regulations, or they'll lobby in favor of reducing regulations and safety rules at the Department of Transportation. What's stopping that from happening this time around and torpedoing the legislation that you're proposing?
Jim, we're going to have a tough fight. The rail lobby is very powerful, and as you made reference to, they've been getting their way for a long time. We have to beat the rail lobby to get this bill passed. Now, it is good news that at the outset you have the two senators from Ohio, Senator Brown and Senator Vance, as well as Senator Fetterman and I from Pennsylvania, in addition to a few others, introducing a bipartisan bill. That hasn't happened in my memory. That for a bill that is as comprehensive as this, speaking to the safety issues, making sure that we're upping substantially the fines that can be imposed to hold companies accountable. But I also should say that Norfolk Southern right now, bill or no bill, has to remain committed, not just over days and weeks or months, but years. And they owe the people of Ohio and Pennsylvania a lot. And I haven't heard nearly enough from Norfolk Southern about actions they're going to take. I've heard a lot of rhetoric, but they need to do a lot more right now for the people on the ground.
And this evening, we're going to see former President Donald Trump address the crowd at CPAC. It's early. The polls show he's leading the GOP field, though he just won the straw poll at CPAC, which is unscientific, of course, but it does indicate that he's still very much a dominant presence in the Republican Party. Are you concerned about him becoming president again?
Oh, I'd be very concerned, but I think what it indicates is the National Republican Party is badly split. And Jim, if I can wish anything on the Republican presidential nominating process, I hope that they have continued rancor, discord, and the kind of invective they're heaping on each other so that they're divided. But our party's united, and I think President Biden's chances are really good to be reelected. But there's no question that the Republican Party doesn't have enough elected officials and leaders who have the strength of character and the courage to separate from the horror of what you saw in the Trump presidency. But so far, they're genuflecting to him and not willing to have a complete break. And I think that's not only bad for their party; it's really bad for the country.
And I know that you are siding with House Republicans on this bill that would block the Washington, D.C. government from updating its crime laws. President Biden has said he will not veto that bill. And I'm just curious, what are your thoughts on this? Shouldn't residents in Washington, D.C. be able to run their own affairs? I mean, as you know, you're very familiar with Washington. They have the license plates here that say taxation
Right.
without representation. It is something that gets under the skin of a lot of D.C. residents that they can't run their own affairs. And here that now we have the Congress and the president saying, well, you can't even update your own crime legislation or ordinances here in the city.
Yeah, look, I understand that concern, but what you have in front of us is a piece of legislation that you either are endorsing the changes made to their criminal law, including lowering the penalty for carjacking, or you vote against it. So under current law, we have to cast a vote, and that's the vote that I'll be casting because I have real concerns about what they're doing with regard to public safety. Having said that, Jim, the only reason we're talking about this is Republicans in the Senate and the House are once again playing games, pretending they're tough on crime. They all voted, just 87% of them just voted in December against an appropriations committee that would provide $0, according to their vote, $0 for the COPS program, $555 million, 87% of their party voted against. They voted against all the federal crime fighting programs, and now they run around pretending that they're a bunch of tough guys. The Republican Party at the congressional level is weak on public safety, is weak on crime, and the vote proved that.
But wouldn't you be giving them a win on the House side with this crime bill?
Well, look, this is one of those instances where you have to cast a vote, and I have real concerns about what the district did. Now, the district can go back to the drawing board and make changes. Even Mayor Bowser said when she vetoed this bill, the mayor vetoed it, and the veto was overridden. Even when she vetoed it, she said that she agreed with a lot of it, but couldn't support the whole bill. So I hope they would go back to the drawing board and make these criminal penalties tougher, or at least not reduce some of the penalties that they've been reducing.
All right, and crime has been going up in the district. It is a problem that residents here deal with every day. All right, Senator Bob Casey, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Jim.
All right, a massive snowstorm has some people